Hey, this is the RedEye stream number 36, Friday the 13th edition. And right now, it's just me and 40 here sitting by our lonesomes. The
Howdy.
link is out on Twitter, and I'll throw it in the chat if anybody wants to jump in a little bit, or as soon as you hear this, go ahead. How you doing today, 40?
I'm alive. I'm just doing things, you know. Just hanging out in my garage, drinking beer, like the usual.
Man, I wish I had a garage. That'd be nice. And then I could let a bunch of homeless people sleep in there when it's raining, and then rob them in the middle of the night.
Well, you just shack the kids up in there, you know.
Oh yeah. So,
Sleep in the
so today is
rafters of your
supposed
garage.
today's supposed to be a bad luck day, right? Don't see a black cat, don't walk under ladders,
Yes,
definitely
well,
don't be a Knights Templar.
yes, well, you know that's unfortunate because I have a black cat that is constantly crossing my path, and she tries to trip me. She's a fucking asshole, really. My cat's a huge cunt.
Yeah,
But yes,
yeah.
the
Black cats
Templar thing.
actually have gigantic egos, more than normal cats. I don't know why, but they're just evil
Yeah,
little
indeed.
buggers.
Oh, she is. She's super fucking demanding. I can't stand her sometimes. But sorry, you were saying about the Templars. We were going to talk about that, right?
Yeah. So let's first start talking about why they were even created, right? Because it's the end of their story that gets wrapped up in the Friday the 13th. Um, they
Yes.
were created supposedly 9 men joined the poor fellows of the Knights Templar, or whatever they called it.
Yeah, the
They were,
poor fellow soldiers of Christ of the Temple of Solomon. Yeah.
there you go. Thank you. And they were tasked with protecting the road for the pilgrims. Now, how are 9 people going to protect the road to Jerusalem?
They're not. They're not really. What, what's actually funny is there's an account from a historian who I can't name right now. I forget his name off the top of my head. Um, but the surrounding region of Jaffa, actually, Jaffa, the region surrounding Jerusalem. See, here's the thing about Jerusalem at this time when the Christians actually seized control of Jerusalem. They literally had just control of Jerusalem. They had virtually no control of the land surrounding Jerusalem, and this land was called Jaffa, right? So,
Well, well, I would hate to cut you off there, but to be fair, they had Enoch, or was it Enoch, or they had the port city
oh, you're talking about Acre, yeah,
south of Constantinople.
yeah.
It was Acre. It started with an A. It was Acre.
It's Acre, like
Oh,
a O,
okay.
kind of. Oh no, it's fine. No, I know what you're talking about though. Yeah, you're totally correct. They had control of Acre. Did they have control? I can't remember. I don't remember if they had control of Damascus or not. But they had control of Acre and all these other things. But the land in between Acre and Jerusalem was actually extraordinarily dangerous. Lots of brigands, lots of Muslim bandits that would literally kill you just because you're an infidel, just because you're a Christian. And so the Crusader states, the Crusader kings that were in control some of these provinces, they're really hurting for security. And funny enough, that's where these knight orders come into play. The Knights Templar originally actually had very high up connections in the church, and so they were actually approved of a knighthood status relatively easily, actually, due to their connections in the church.
Yeah, well, their connections in the church were the Pope. They only answered to the Pope, not a king, not the King of Jerusalem, not the King of England, France. None of them. They answered to the Pope.
Yeah, it
Correct?
was originally a very prominent. It was either bishop or cardinal or something like this. But the founder, Hugh de Payon, or however you say it in France, in frog speak, right? He was friends personally with this bishop and or cardinal, and this bishop and or cardinal personally knew the Pope, and so you're totally right. He had a streamline essentially to the Pope, and so that's how they got approved of knighthood so easily.
What I think is really interesting is they were given the supposed spot of the Temple of Solomon, however you say it. And
Yeah.
they were allowed to use that as their base. And then they started excavating below it. Any ideas, conspiracy theories, so to say, on what they might have found down there?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you got three people, High Watcher and High Pirate. You guys pipe in.
Happy Friday the 13th, motherfuckers. Why are we talking about the Knights Templar on Friday the 13th?
Oh, we'll get the
Hi, Mad Dodge.
hey, but we'll get to that. The Knights Templar, we'll talk about the beginning still, but fast forward to 1307 in October, for Friday the 13th, they were slaughtered in France on the word from the French king. And supposedly,
So is that the originations of the bad karma of Friday the 13th?
some people say it
No.
is. Others say there's different stuff. So that's what we're going to discuss today. It's going to be
Hey,
lighthearted.
Wolfie, how you doing?
Hey.
So yeah,
Yep.
no politics today. We're talking history, superstitions, and maybe even the Friday the 13th movies.
Jason
Okay.
Voorhees is Knights Templar.
Ted Cruz is a Zodiac.
But I'm serious though. What do you think? What do you think they found out?
Well,
Because that I've heard they found.
I don't know anything about this subject, so I'm just going to listen to you guys like mastinate about it.
But supposedly they found the piece of the true cross or the Holy Grail. I mean, there's all sorts of stories, right, 40?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you wanna try and understand what they were looking for, you do have to go back to biblical bullshittery, which I don't know too much about, unfortunately. But the Temple of Solomon originally housed the Ark of the Covenant. So hypothetically speaking, excuse me, when the Romans sacked the Temple of Solomon, they were probably looking for the Ark of the Covenant, but I don't think they found anything, to be quite honest.
Well, okay, since nobody else really knows about the Templars, I'll go ahead and move it forward. Supposedly, the 9 people went back to Europe. I think it was 9 years later, I think, or 5 years later. And then they suddenly became bankers, pretty much. They had a giant network in Europe, and they came back with thousands of Templar knights back to the Holy Land. Whatever they found was worth a bunch of money.
Yeah, the Templars founded the very first intercontinental bank of Europe, officially. Literally, like not even the Romans or the Greeks or anything had anything like that beforehand. The Templars were officially like the first intercontinental banking industry. For just a few shekels a day, they will protect your goods.
Well, they called it rent because in the Catholic Church at the time, you were not allowed to charge interest.
Yes.
So they were like,
Yes, no
well,
usury.
we're charging a rent on your money.
Yes.
Or your loan.
Yeah. And due to the fact that they had a direct connection to the Pope, I'd imagine that was not much of a problem.
And it was really, that's the best way they protected the road to the Holy Land, really, because they handed you a piece of paper. You gave them all your money. They handed you a piece of paper. You got to Jerusalem, turned in the piece of paper for a bunch of money. It was pretty much a traveler's check.
Yeah. Well, essentially, how they accrued such an incredible amount of wealth. Do you actually know the stipulations for joining by chance?
Yeah, you had to already be a knight, and you had to give them all your lands and holdings and possessions, pretty much. You had to hand over everything you owned.
Exactly. And so that means an incredible amount of land, especially in France, were under the control of the Templars. And essentially what this leads to is massive control of serfs, specifically in southern France, towards the kind of Albigensian region. But yeah, massive land holdings, so they're able to actually tax the peasantry, the serfs in these areas as well. And that's how they got a credible amount of wealth. And this was happening all over Europe as well. This was, this was the, these were the Jay-Z's of old, I suppose, you could say.
Yeah, anybody else have anything to add, or me and 40 just going to carry the historical part of the conversation? You guys just want to talk about
Well, I was gonna. Well, I
bladders.
mean, If you would shut the fuck up, I mean, you know.
Go Wolf.
Okay.
Hi. So, the reason why Friday the 13th is such a thing is because 13 was the number of witches in a coven. And the number 13 has been associated with bad things for a very, very long time. Because Bible.
Is that you want to elaborate on the superstitious part of it? Because yeah, I was talking about just the historical part where the French
That is
king.
historical.
Oh, I know, but not all
You can
not all
Google it.
covens have witches.
13
You know
is
what I mean?
the
Hashtag
13 is
not all.
the usual. Okay, okay. You know. Okay. Well, you know more about the craft than I do. I forgot. You're
No,
a
I
wizard,
don't.
Harry.
What's up? What's up, Wolf? You having a black cat cross your path? I was just joking around.
No, I actually I know a bit about this stuff because I am in the craft. But it's okay. I don't give a shit.
So are you like you're not in the Wiccans
Eh,
because they don't practice craft.
Well, I mean,
hold on one
honestly, to
second.
be honest, the fucking terms are so interchangeable. It honestly almost doesn't even matter. And someone who is a
See,
Wiccan is also practicing witchcraft. Titles don't mean
see,
anything anymore.
to me,
But
it's kind of like when you start getting into this religious and these groups and these realms of following. It's all kind of subjective to whether or not you believe, not whether or not it's real.
yeah, and I mean, I don't know I don't know what to call I don't know. For the sake of this conversation, I will call myself pagan, I suppose. But the problem is like it's been so Hollywoodized, you know, the proper terms don't even mean what they mean anymore. You know, someone who is a Wiccan, you know, it practices witchcraft, but I mean, in reality, those are two completely different, you know,
Does not
theological
practice
practices.
witchcraft. That's where so many people are wrong on that. And
Yeah,
I am not a Wiccan, but I've looked at and explored the Wiccan, and it's more like earth, nature, forces, but it's not witchcraft in the Christian terms that it's been defined.
yeah.
And so that's why when somebody says they're Wiccan, people automatically summon all these images of evil, and that's not what that's about. But it's not about like how you were talking about the Templars and following a religious doctrine.
Yeah, well, and the Templars, actually at the trial when they were being tortured in the Inquisition, they were accused of spitting on the cross, urinating on it, homosexual acts, worshiping the devil. These were all written down, and that's what they were accused of. So they were kind of accused of being pagan, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah, it's so funny because a
Anything,
lot of these,
anything that anybody practices as a ritual, the rituals can be pointed out as being, blasphemous to the Christian religion or whatever they want to
yeah,
hold it up again.
everything that isn't mass at a church is Satanism. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, especially when you're
Well,
talking about this group of people, you know, I mean, this is the fall of the Templars was mid 13th century, if I remember correctly. So you're not exactly talking about the most intelligent group of people.
yeah, no, and I have a question. Doesn't Wiccans, don't they perform ritual magic, kind of like the Golden Dawn and stuff like that, but a different variation of it?
Oh, first of all, I
Therefore,
fucking hate the Golden
I
No,
Dawn. But
I'm not.
it's ceremonial. It's ceremonial. I mean, everything is ceremonial. There's
Yeah.
no such thing as ritual magic. There's ceremonial practices to try and solve.
Oh, you broke up there on my end at least. I don't know if everybody else can still hear you.
What is the magic?
Well, when it comes to the Golden Dawn, the ritual itself invokes the magic. I've looked into them and Aleister Crowley quite a bit. I have not really looked into the Wiccan. I guess it is a religion, so the Wiccan religion. But from what I understood is that they perform ritual magic also, just a different form.
Type of worship. It's not performing ritual magic. It's just a different way of worshiping. The Wiccans, the Templars, the Christians, the Jews, everybody has a different way they worship. And so the Wiccans are no different than the Christians as far as they just have different ceremonies that they go through to demonstrate their worship to their religion. If you view it in that perspective.
Well,
if you just view it from that clear perspective, they have their rituals the same way the Christians do, the same way the Catholics, the kneeling, the praying.
No,
it's all ritual.
I wanted to get to the Catholics actually because I was raised Catholic, and Catholicism after Rome adopted it, it got blended with Roman's previous religion. That's why you have the ritual smoke as they walk down the aisle and stuff, and the big cross and kneel, stand, in the confession. Like they took ritualistic stuff from the pagans, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from my experience personally, at least, I mean that's what Wiccans are. It's an adaptation of previous pagan beliefs into the recognition of the solstice and Yule, Saturnalia, or whatever you want to call these specific holidays. But that's what that is to me. Wiccans will observe the natural holidays and the natural coming of cycles and all this. Versus witchcraft, or, witches, they will actually sit down and practice some kind of ceremonial magic, like, casting love spells or what have you. And of course, these terms are compatible with one another as well, so, that just leads to more tomfuckery.
Tomfuckery instead of tomfoolery, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But I think everybody has a different perspective that they reflect upon based upon our upbringing. Now, like Mad Dodge, like you, I was raised in the very strict doctrine, and so when you become an adult and you reject that, then you tend to over scrutinize everybody's religious perspective because you were so. When you're raised as a Catholic, you are just so indoctrinated. It's like the Jehovah's Witnesses, where you can't accept any other doctrine other than what's being taught to you, and everything else is blasphemy. I mean, I was raised to believe as a Catholic that unless you were baptized as a Catholic and accepting of the Catholic faith, I mean, all other religions, you were damned to hell. And just because you didn't believe the right religion, the right doctrine.
Well, yeah, not even that. To go back to the historical thing. So when the Templars got persecuted, there was a few places that they could go. Some people say part of them ran out into the Alps. Their whole fleet, they had a bunch of merchant ships for trade to the Middle East. Those boats all vanished outside of France and every other European country. But they could have ran to Scotland. And that's because Scotland was excommunicated. The whole country was, because of their king. So that's a place where they could have ran to, where they would have been shielded from the wrath of the Pope and the King of France. Any thoughts on that?
Because they chose to follow the Roman Catholic doctrine rather than the Protestant doctrine.
Well, Scotland was excommunicated because he's the guy.
Protestants were the wealthy. The Protestants were the wealthy that had power. The Roman Catholics were the poor.
Yeah, but I think I'm talking about before the Reformation, I believe. Robert the Bruce wanted to have a divorce, and they wouldn't. Or no, not the divorce part. That was the King of England. Robert the Bruce killed a rival in a church, and he refused to repent for it, and so he got excommunicated. The barons refused to overthrow him, so they got excommunicated. The people refused to overthrow the barons, so the whole country got excommunicated. Like the Pope just fucking went off on them.
Yeah,
And
actually,
Bruce was a Catholic, right?
Yeah, Scotland, they're all Catholic. They were
Right.
still practicing Catholicism after
And
being
that's where it split between the Catholics and the Protestants were allowed to come into power.
no.
I still believe this was before Martin Luther and the Reformation. I do. Robert the Bruce was during Scotland's rebellion against Edward Longshanks, I think his name was.
I would capitulate that you're right, because it's been so long since I studied any of that. I'd have to pull out books and, re-reference whether or not. But I'll just agree that you're right, since I don't have any reference. I don't have any citation.
Wood, you're in the chat. You said England was relatively safe. I heard that they were also being arrested in England as well, and it was Edward Longshanks. Thank you, sir. I love it when I actually get validated. Any thoughts on that, Forty?
Well, about them actually going to Scotland, you're totally correct, actually. A few of them actually did go to Scotland. There are a few documented cases where Templars did, in fact, fight on the side of Robert the Bruce. Not a plethora of them, just a select few that actually fled to Scotland. But you're totally correct when you say that. There are documented cases of Templars fighting with Robert. However, one of the things that people don't really talk about is the absorption of the Templars into, say, the Teutonic Knights and the Knights Hospitaller. That was actually primarily what happened, in my own personal opinion, although it's relatively undocumented. So that's that as far as, where everyone disappeared to. But I did want to touch for just a moment on the accusations of Baphomet worship and gay sex and all that other stuff they were accused of. The problem is that a lot of these, I don't want to call them confessions, but a lot of these confessions, they were brought about by torture, actually. These people were literally tortured to no end, actually. And so, once these people were essentially tortured to fucking hell, they gave these confessions that were very false. And one of the very funny things is they were talking about, yes, they confessed that, yes, I spit on the cross, but I did so with my mouth and not my heart, is, I believe, one of the quoted, documented
spit on the cross
cases.
of my Lord, please.
I'm not spitting on the cross of your Lord. You can blame the Templars for that, supposedly. But, so supposedly they gave confessions of spitting on the cross, but only with their mouth and not of their heart. And so essentially what this means is they spit on the cross, but they didn't actually mean it, And so a lot of Templars actually got out of persecution. This was a kind of get-out-of-jail-free card for them. And so this is essentially what they did. And that's why a lot of people like to pretend that they were Satan worshippers, even, they were tortured and practically forced into giving false confessions. In my opinion, the Templars were honestly probably some of the most pious knights in terms of just the Middle Ages in general.
Sir, the Jews are the ones that give false testimony.
Okay, so Infamous. You probably joined from my Twitter feed. What's up? If you want to add to the conversation, that's awesome. Tell us about yourself if you have a channel. If you want to come on and just troll us, I'm using the boot button.
I just want to say one thing before I get the boot, if I can.
What's up?
I only boot trolls. I've never booted anybody from...
No, I just wanted to do a little pitch on my channel and then I'll leave peacefully.
What kind of channel do you run, dude?
Go ahead. Like I said, I've never booted anybody. If you want to talk, stay and join the convo. I like to meet new people.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead. We're all waiting breathlessly to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm Infamous Jesse. I'm the leader of the former Jehovah's Witness movement.
and I just have 7 little videos, 2 minutes long each, called "Religion is the Root of All Evil." Check it out, folks.
You're a Jehovah Witness, but religion is the root of all evil?
I'm
He
a
said
Former.
disassociated.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that part. My bad.
Okay,
No, that makes sense.
got it.
Yeah, I'll check
actually,
your channel out, man.
I think that bought you a couple more minutes. Tell us how you ended up leaving the church for a second. I'm kind of curious.
Well, I don't believe in this whole child molesting. 2 witnesses to the crime. They have to have 2 people witness the rape for them to even believe you or call the cops. And also, they were preaching some false doctrines. They told me that Jesus is Michael the Archangel, and that 1914 the rule of Christ started.
Oh my God. I'm laughing because I agree with you. It's just there's never been a former Jehovah's Witness in my lifetime that I've ever come across that has said these things outright, that has said, yeah, this 2 people need to witness the molestation is bullshit. You know, this is bullshit. You're pointing out things that I pointed out to Jehovah's Witnesses before, and they're just like, no, that's how it's got to be because God says so. Oh my God.
Well, oh my, it's much like Islam in that right, isn't it? You have to have a certain number of witnesses, otherwise it's the stones will be upon you, you dirty whore. That's interesting. That's pretty crazy. Do they have any other strange laws like that? That's pretty that's obscenely specific. I'm just curious if they have any others.
Yes, they have a rule called theocratic strategy. That means you're allowed to mislead or lie to the enemy. Kind of like the Muslims practice taqiyya.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, same concept.
We've officially found the Western version of Muslims, it seems.
Oh shit. Oh shit, I've never put 2 and 2 together, but you're right. So pretty soon we're gonna be hearing Jehovah's Witnesses scream, "I become closer to God," and exploding.
Why do they? I'm really curious. Do they have any weird superstitions about Friday the 13th? Because you're not allowed to celebrate Halloween or your birthday or Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Yes, bad associations spoil useful habits. It's a verse in Corinthians. And they believe that you and I, who are unbelievers, are demon possessed.
Now, do you guys have the magic, or not you guys, sorry, I don't mean to associate you with them, Jesse, but do Jehovah's Witnesses have the magic underwear thing, or is that the Mormons I'm thinking of?
Only the Mormons.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thank God, I was about to say. Exploding underwear is a lot harder to detect than a fucking bomb vest, okay?
Yeah, you want to talk crazy Mormons, I'm your guy. I went to a Mormon church for quite some time.
I've only ever been to like 3 Mormon services in my life, and they were odd. They're pretty odd. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, Mormons are...
I read the Book of Mormon cover to cover just because they showed up and I took it from them. I was like, okay. And I was like, gold plated stuff and fucking, I don't know. It was a bunch of weird shit. And I was like, that's not for me. I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
But they kept showing up. And they call you. And they send you letters.
Mormons are genuinely nice people in my experience. I mean, I've never met a Mormon who wouldn't give you the fucking shirt off their back if you asked them for it. But
yeah, that's so true. Mormons are fucking awesome people. It's just they believe in some crazy shit. I just can't get behind it.
Service was just so. It felt so detached from actual like any other religious reality that I've ever come across, other than like maybe Islam. Islam's pretty far fucking out. Yeah, as far as like Christianity, any other subsect of Christianity goes, Mormonism by far takes the fucking cake.
Oh my gosh, dude! So you've only been to like 3 services. Did you get to the part where you get your own planet when you die?
Yeah. No, actually, Lady Pirate is a former Mormon, and that's about the part where she stopped believing.
This explains a lot.
I want to throw that out there. Miss Jesse, if you're still in the chat, dude, sub to my channel and hit me up on Twitter. I'll go check out your channel. Nice to
Yeah.
meet you. When you
Hey,
came
man.
on,
Fucker, you should have stayed on. You cunt. Why'd
Yeah,
you leave?
when he came on and started
Oh.
interrupting, I was like, oh, that's because I threw it on Twitter. I'm getting the trolls. So I got, ready to boot. But you were all right.
Charlie.
Come
No,
on
yeah,
back
Jesse, if you're
sometime.
still listening, man, get a hold of me as well. I'd love to hang out with you sometime.
Yeah, dude, come back
Mad
anytime.
Dodge.
Fuck you.
Mad Dodge. Shut up, everybody. God damn it. Mad
Yeah.
Dodge. I gotta go. I gotta go. My internet's going wonky on me. So you guys have a good discussion. Thanks for allowing me to come on for a little bit. You have a good night.
Yeah,
Hey,
you
thanks for some of that Wicca talk. That was pretty cool.
Whatever. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, bye,
Later.
kitty.
have a good one.
Bye.
Peace out. Bye.
All right, and Wood, if you're back, dude, you had something to add to the Templar conversation. I saw you in the chat. Go for it, man. You have the floor.
I'm just wondering, is my microphone working?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, it was about me saying that the Templars were safe in England. I believe that I read something about them being relatively safe under the reign of Edward the First, but then when his son took power, his son wasn't a stronger ruler, so he basically caved to papal and French authority, and they started getting persecuted. So that's why they all went up to Scotland and started fighting for Robert the Bruce, if they actually did fight with Robert the Bruce.
Yeah, the only
so-
source I have heard for them actually being there was the battle. Oh man, help me out, 40. What was the name of the battle? Robert the Bruce was starting to fold, and then up on the hill came knights clad in all white, no crosses or anything, but in white, and they came charging down and they broke the English line.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm not sure
no.
about that.
I do know about that account. I just don't remember the fucking battle. I couldn't even tell you the year, to be honest. It's just
I've read about
it's so
that.
hard to remember all these fucking dates.
Well, 1307 was when the Inquisition on the Templars happened, so that had to be what, 1310, a few years after.
I want to say 13. Oh fuck! I'm trying to remember when Bruce fucking. I want to say. Yeah, sure. Fuck it. 1310.
Yeah, we'll just go with that. The Americans talking about fucking
It's been a
English.
while. It's been a while since I've read anything on the Knights Templar, so all the dates are all wonky in my head.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, the only dates I have nailed down are for the American Civil War because I argue that with MC like every other day. So,
Speaking of, where is Tucker Carlson tonight?
oh, he's in the chat now. He's busy, so he's just trolling our chat.
Oh, fuck you, MC. Get on here, you son of a bitch. Not busy. We know you don't have a life.
Yeah, what do you have to do? Go to work and like earn money, pay bills? Come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah,
No.
right. Yeah, fucking right.
Porch with the shotgun and yells at the kids, "Get off my lawn!"
He's actually like a meth dealer. Yeah, that's what he does. He goes out and he shoots a shotgun out into the air. Just like at the sound of anything. Like he hears crickets, he goes out and he fucking fires his gun.
Oh god, one of those
Yeah,
Minnesota meth
he told
dealers,
me
how they
about
like
the-
make meth in the Gatorade bottles.
Oh god. All right, let's get back on subject. So Friday the 13th, guys. What pops in your head when you think Friday the 13th?
Jason fucking Voorhees, man.
Something's gonna happen. Something bad. Jason, of course.
Well, where I am, it's already the 14th, so I'm safe.
Walk under any ladders yesterday, sir?
No, but I did almost slip down the stairs in church.
Ah.
At church?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't you guys have like Jack the Ripper to worry about or some shit over there?
No, I don't live in the UK. I live in the Middle East.
Oh, dear God, you got plenty more to worry about than Jack the Ripper.
Don't worry, we don't have Muhammad from down the road coming over to kill us for the glory of Allah or anything.
Oh, do you seriously live in the Middle East?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I live in the safer parts of the Middle East, not the ISIS part.
Wait,
Oh,
are you in like Kuwait?
United Arab Emirates or something?
Yeah, around.
Right, okay.
He's not going to tell us, so stop fishing, guys.
Yeah, no. Those places,
No.
I understand the places you're talking about. Those places are cool.
I accidentally blurted it out on the Ogre's stream once, but I think that stream got taken down due to copyright issues. So thank God.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Well, not good for the Ogre.
Oh well, no. Well, I mean, glad you're not, being bombed or anything like that. Good job. You're born in the good part of the Middle East. That's good.
Still got the heat to worry about, though.
Indeed, it gets up to 50 degrees here.
Oh gosh.
So, anything else on the Templars, or should we move it along to superstitions? Which there's a lot of those crazy things.
We can go to superstitions because I have something to say about those ladders, honestly. So here's the thing.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Right. So here's the thing. I never understood why it was bad luck to walk.
Whoops.
What happened there?
It was the bad luck caught up with him.
It appears.
His girlfriend came out to the garage. He'll be
And
back.
I think the globalists have hacked his stream. Oh, is he back?
Oh no, Pirate's here. Pirate takes somebody out with him every time, kind of like Quiet. That's their MO.
Who got taken out?
Oh,
40?
you killed 40 right in the middle of his sentence.
Hello?
Oops.
Oh,
Yeah,
your
here I am.
camera's on.
Excellent. Oh no.
You're
okay,
back,
it's all good.
40. Nice garage, man.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's got plenty of knives, and I have like a drill and stuff in here. Yeah, it's pretty nice in here. Oh, but no, so I was gonna say, right, the thing I never understood is just like, right, why would it be bad luck to walk under a ladder? I mean, it's not even safe to walk under ladders in the first place, so I don't even know why you would be walking. What business do you have under a ladder? It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I was working in a warehouse once, and I had to work nailing shit in, and a guy had a real long ladder ahead of me, and I had to put up some wood like below it that was cut out, for that spot. And I had to actually go under his ladder to do that, and I just kept thinking he's gonna drop that nail gun on my head. So I moved real quick.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, no hard hats, safety glasses. Fuck OSHA.
If I lose an eye, I lose it like a man.
Exactly.
40, why am I not fucking surprised that you look pretty much exactly like the weird fucking drawing that is your avatar?
Great minds think alike.
I looked in a mirror and I'm just like, right, what is the worst possible way I can draw myself?
Ah, okay, that is, yeah. Good on you.
I know
we're
that
done-
here, regarding ladders, if you happen to pass under a ladder to stop the bad luck that it would bring you, you have to go back the same way. So you have to pass twice under the ladder. The second time gets you rid from the bad luck that it would bring you.
Well, can't you just carry salt around with you everywhere and throw it over your left shoulder and you're golden?
That's only if you knock over salt, fuck.
Yeah.
Right, so here's what I'm thinking, right? So you walk under a ladder and get your bad luck, but you walk out reverse twice and you get good luck. How about that, folks?
But you're still
Does that make
walking
any
under the
sense?
ladder.
Our Lord here demands you that you come back and undo your bad luck by passing in the opposite direction from where you were coming from previously. Then you get rid of the bad luck. I have never tested this hypothesis.
Did you guys
I'm
ever
not quite sure anybody has.
No, as a kid, did you ever play that game? Step on a crack, you break your mother's back. So you just be hopping down the sidewalk, pretty much.
I wonder how many instances where like they've done that and then they come home and they find out their mother's back is broken and they just like, oh my god, it's true. It's like, no, no, no. Listen, it's just a coincidence. Calm the fuck down.
It's true, because if you stepped on a crack, someone would actually go out of their way and just break your mother's spine.
No one
Sneak into your house with a sledgehammer and then boom.
Yeah, there's a guy off in the distance with a sniper rifle aimed at the lower part of your mother's spine.
He's in the bushes with the binoculars, just waiting for you to step on a crack.
Yeah.
Soon.
I almost got it on that fucking sidewalk. God damn it.
Well, speaking of superstitions, there's another one I don't get, because you know the black cat crosses your path one?
I have a black cat. He crosses my path all the time.
Well, some people believe that it's good luck, and some people believe that it's bad luck. What's your take on that?
I believe that it's a black fucking cat and that it does not affect your luck in any way, shape, or form whatsoever.
Exactly.
No, you know what actually upsets me about that myth is around Halloween time they tell you to lock your black cats up because some psycho kid down the road's gonna kill it. Like,
Oh, that is actually true. One time I did live in a bad part of the neighborhood, and I did catch these fucking kids, these dirty little fucking rat kids chasing my cows, and would beat the shit out of them. God, I got so mad. No, but
I read somewhere that the shelters avoid rescuing black cats in order to avoid people from adopting them in order to use them in rituals.
well, that's obviously racist. They're selectively ignoring the black cats. That's messed
May I
up.
please have one black cat to sacrifice to the Dark Lord? Thank you.
The only thing I can say for my black cat, he was rescued when he was throwing a hissy fit because he was lost down the alley. And he's not bad luck, he's just an asshole.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I got my black cat.
He wasn't raised by me since he was a kitten, so he has some bad habits. And he killed a bird recently. And now he stays at the balcony waiting for another bird to drop on his lap. He's ridiculous. I don't say. I think this comes from what? From the Inquisition, the witches and the cats, whatever. I don't know.
Oh gosh, I actually don't remember where that comes from, to be honest.
Actually, the Inquisition and the witch hunting and burning the witches with their cats, black or not, is directly responsible for the Black Plague taking over Europe.
Oh, and
actually, the plague came from the Mongols throwing disease-riddled bodies over the walls of a city they were besieging.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
Good
then
times.
the boats fleeing from that city just basically went to ports all over Europe and just spread it like herpes.
Actually, I think you'll find that the plague came from Satan because the devil came out of the fucking ground and just infected everybody, and that's how it happened. All right, you have to believe that.
Oh God.
The demons came from the ground and gave us the diseases.
The zombies rose from the God.
Hey everybody,
gave us the plague.
What?
Hey Steve.
Hello, Don.
What's the topic right now?
Oh, Satan. That's the top.
Satan.
Yeah.
Black cats
Satan,
turned
the
into
great
Satan.
evil one.
okay, I was gonna try and talk, but then my daughter started screaming. But you brought up the burning of the witches. The weird thing is, the Grand Master of the Knights Templar, he was slowly burnt alive. In other words, cooked alive over like 8 or 10 hours.
Oh.
For that, it was him and his second command. They were tied up to a stake, and a slow cooking fire was made underneath them. I'd rather be
Jacques Desmoulins, right?
And that was in France, so it wasn't the English's fault.
It's always the filthy French.
The things that the human mind may conceive still astonish me.
And if
Well,
you
yeah.
believe in, were you going to
Oh,
say
sorry.
something?
What? Yeah, let me say something real quick and then you
All
can
right,
go.
sure.
Sorry, buddy. Yeah, so the only reason they did that to him is he confessed under torture and they let him live. And then about 6 months later, he recanted and they were like, dude, confess in public. He's like, no, absolutely not. And so they're like, okay, burn him alive. Go ahead, Wood. Sorry.
Well, what's kind of if you believe in the supernatural and stuff, apparently Jacques de Molay, the Templar Grand Master that you were talking about, he, when he was being burnt alive, before he died, he said to the Pope and the King of France, basically, something on the lines of, "You will die within a year," and something like, "Your bloodline will fail," or something. And within a year, the King of France died in a hunting accident, and the Pope died of some disease. And then King Philip, the King of France, his 3 sons all died in quick succession, and that basically started the 100 Years' War.
Oh yes, I came just at the perfect time. Were you talking about the supposed curse that the Grand Master put on the King of France?
Ironically called Philip the Fair.
Yeah. Very fair.
It was because he was handsome, not because he was actually fair as in kind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was actually kind of a fucking dick.
He was an absolute dickhead.
Oh, he was a huge cunt.
I mean, listen to this, guys. Listen to the logic that the French king has, right? Their hero, their patron fucking saint that's leading the French armies onto the battlefield, Joan of fucking Arc. Let's sell her to the English and let them burn her at the stake for the sake of this,
But actually, Philip the Fair, the King of France, was long dead before Joan of Arc came onto the scene.
Oh. Who was the fucking king? Who was the king that sold her out then?
I'm not sure. I think it was the son of Charles the Mad. It was. It was. All I know is that Joan of Arc was almost a full century after Philip the Fair.
Yeah. Oh, I'd have to read all this shit again. It has been a while since I read war stuff. That was back in high school when I read that, so I guess shit mixed up. But yeah. Well, okay, that just proves then that the French are dicks in general. They sell out their own fucking.
Well, didn't she rise from being a peasant, Joan of Arc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they hate that shit, right? Back then, the lords wanted to stay lords, and they wanted small folk to stay small folk.
In the Byzantine Empire, there were actually a couple emperors that rose up from becoming peasants, like Romanus I and Basil I.
Wasn't Joan of Arc fighting the incoming Moorish?
No, the Moors were already driven into Granada by this time.
Huh?
Yeah. And she fought the English.
Yeah.
Okay, she was in English. Okay, this is before the Moorish invasion.
It's because we were whipping the French so hard that God had to send divine intervention in the form of little girl.
And then what did the French do? They gave that divine intervention over and said, burn her at the stake. Fine.
Indeed.
Of course, burn everybody at the stake.
Bullshit.
No, in case, I don't have any French viewers yet, I don't think. Because I could look at the map. I have some from the UK and stuff like that. But if you're French, I still remember you helped us out in the Revolutionary War. Bravo, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, well, they also drug us into the Vietnam War, the bastards, so... The debt's even, I suppose.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not necessarily even. There is World War I and World War II we could talk about.
Oh, you mean those times where we also bailed them out of trouble?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You mean all the times when America actually bailed every single country out of trouble every fucking time? That's why the UN is such a fucking bunch of assholes, and we actually have been running that shit for years.
Hey,
Generally,
hey,
if you're
no, I know it's weird on the RedEye straight, Sith Mail, but tonight it is history and superstitions and maybe some movies.
Oh,
Don't get me
shit.
started on
I wanted to bring up Poland so bad.
Look, we all know that every time the U.S. goes into a battle, they're carrying a U.S. flag, right? But, every time the French go into the battle, they've just got a white flag.
Well,
All
All
right.
right, everybody got it ready? Everybody ready to wave it? All right, all right, good battle, everybody. We won.
You were saying?
No, I was just making fun of the French. Go ahead.
A good superstition, little anecdote I got for you guys. I grew up in a very small town, and one of those parts of town was called Papa, and you couldn't go in that place because if you did, there was apparently brujas, which would be Spanish for witches. So you didn't go around because they had their familiars and their dogs and whatnot, and still to this day I get creeped out when I go there.
Oh, you're talking about... You were going to say something, Mad George?
Oh, no, go ahead, man. I totally cut you off again. Go for
Okay.
it.
Since we're talking about local urban legends and myths, in Indonesia, because I'm half Indonesian, but in Indonesia we had this, I'm not sure if it's everywhere in Indonesia, but it was just my general area. We had this legend of this ghost that would basically, if you were a naughty kid, it was basically the ghost of a fat man that would kidnap you by stuffing you into his belly fat, climbing up into a tree and raping you for 3 days.
What the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah, my grandma would always say, "Don't go out at night or you'll be kidnapped by the fat man ghost."
Oh my god. That's terrible.
I had a phobia of fat people for a while.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Kind of
like I've heard some pretty crazy ghost stories, man, but that one is like dark as fuck.
That kind of sounds like Harvey Weinstein being the fucking poltergeist.
Weinstein in the trees.
Come on, sit on my lap. Don't embarrass me.
I was a
Weinstein
teenager
in the
when I
tree.
watched Poltergeist, and there was a tree by my window, and my parents were traveling, and I had to hide in their bedroom.
Oh my gosh, we need to make Weinstein in the trees a fucking movie. That is the perfect vibe.
Weinstein in the trees where he rapes you for 3 days and you're too traumatized. Oh, and there's also another thing at the end of it. Once they let you down from the tree, you apparently lose your ability to speak.
Ooh.
What the fuck?
Just a little cherry on top.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, maybe he rapes you in the mouth. I mean, it doesn't say where he rapes you.
He fucking cuts your vocal cords out while he has you unconscious or some shit like that, right? Did you say rapes you for 3 days? Is that what the fuck you said happens?
Something along the lines of that. Grandparents tend to exaggerate, but that's what she said.
Who the fuck tells that to their kids, man? That's fucked up.
It's Asian parenting 101.
Probably the person lose the ability
Jesus, no wonder.
to speak from screaming so much.
Well, it's better than being hit. It's better than being beat by a flip-flop. That's what my Indian mates tell me. Anyone else got some fancy urban local legends to share?
I don't know. I mean, when I was in high school, I was in theater for a decent amount of time, and we performed at a supposed haunted theater, but I mean, I never saw anything. That's it.
Well, there was one time where we found this witch ritual grounds or some shit like that. We had heard about it. It was some place out in fucking Virginia where apparently some witches in the backwoods do rituals. When we went back there, there's this it's where a burnt down house was, and the chimney is still standing. It's an old stone chimney, and apparently sometimes at night that chimney would be smoking and shit. And so we went out there, and We found some pretty weird shit, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, we found a fucking decapitated dog.
What
Really?
the
And
fuck?
and the chimney was smoking, and I was like, okay, so either somebody's over there or something is over there, and whoever it is, I'm just not in the mood to fuck with, so let's go the other way. And that's exactly what we did. It was unlike any horror movie you would ever see because the people in it did the smart thing and just got the fuck out of there.
Yeah, it was a realistic
You're like,
horror
fuck
movie.
that. We're gonna go smoke a
Yeah.
bowl over there. This is bullshit.
Yeah, no, I said I am not interested enough in losing my life to find out what the fuck that is. I'm gone. Bye.
It's like you just roll up to the haunted house and they say, "No, have a good day." And the serial killer goes, "Come on, I've had the traps already and pulled out."
He's just like really sad at the window, and you hear like some really sad violin music playing, and everything goes all gray. He's just got his hand up on it. Please come back.
I was just about to circumcise you with a rusty knife. Aww.
Just gonna shove it right up your wee hole. Please come back.
I was going to touch the children.
Do you have legends of haunted houses?
Everywhere has legends of haunted houses.
No,
Britain
I
tends to
mean,
have legends of haunted
personally.
castles.
Oh, actually, I can tell you a decent story. I mean, I can't give away specifics, but so the place that I work at, it's a store that will volunteer. It'll send volunteers up to what is essentially this camp for disabled kids for the summer, right? And so, while we're at this camp, this is apparently a well-known spot that is notorious for its paranormal activities.
Downy
So,
ghosts?
Pretty much.
Ooh, Downy ghosts.
So, for instance, the camp is right next to a lake. Well, apparently people have seen UFOs over the lake, like, many a times. Like, not just once a long time ago, but it's a reoccurring thing. Well, also, the house next to the lake is actually haunted as well. And what's funny is that me and my girlfriend, we volunteered to do this, actually. And we went inside the house, and we'd heard the stories before, but we were just like, whatever, what the fuck. And so they asked us to go upstairs into this attic portion and bring down some mattresses so we could dust them off and everyone had a place to sleep and everything. So we brought the mattresses down, and we moved them into the cabins that everyone was sleeping in. They were off a ways. But we came back to the house because it was our only, it was our lifeblood. It was the only place that had internet in a region of the world that is void of cell phone service. So we go back to this house to use the internet and everything on our phones. And while we're sitting there, we actually do hear people walking around upstairs, but we just figured, it's probably bringing down more mattresses or whatever. And so we're just kind of sitting there playing on our phone. And it was funny because no one else was actually in the house with us when we were like just sitting there playing on our phones, and we didn't really realize this until afterwards. But it was just light walking upstairs that we heard. It was nothing crazy though, and that was pretty much it.
They just wanted their mattresses back.
Yeah, you stole their mattresses, man. How dare you?
Yeah. What the fuck, dude? Why would you take their mattresses, man?
You're sleeping at night and then you hear the ghost saying, "You will give us back our mattresses or suffer the wrath of the damned."
That's my sleep member bed, bitch.
Those are my cum stains.
Those memory foam pillows.
Well, I have a quick one I'll throw out there, as long as my mic doesn't mess up. So, I used to go, when I lived in downtown Eugene, I used to go to the graveyard by the U of O. And I'd go there with some beer and, a little bit of weed, and I'd just kick it at the graveyard. It was peaceful, and nobody bummed beer off me. The dead don't ask you for beer. So
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so I'm out there one night. It's like 11 o'clock at night on a Friday. And I have like an ounce of bud in my pocket and a backpack full of beer. I'm like, well, I should find somebody to hang out with. And I look across the graveyard, and in the middle by a tree, I see two people. What's up? And I kind of wave at them, and they wave at me, and I start walking that way. And I get about halfway there, and literally before my eyes, they fucking vanish. And it was just two guys standing there. They didn't have anything in their hand. I don't know. It was really weird. Yes, I was drinking, and I was stoned.
Phantom stoners.
Take
Crossfaded.
Take it with a grain of salt, but they literally vanished before my eyes. They didn't run away. They literally looking at me and just disappeared.
Maybe you passed out standing up for a second, and then they left, and then you just woke back up. You're going,
Yeah, you
where the
just
hell did they
blacked
go?
out.
I don't think so. I smoked a bowl before I left, but I was drinking my first beer. I had just gotten there and was like, I should probably look for somebody to hang out with. Or else the backpack full of beer would have been empty if I was already.
Like you, that was it.
Well, they didn't run away. They just disappeared. And all I saw from far away was a silhouette, The U of O graveyard right across from MacArthur Court has also been known for ghost sightings. So I don't know.
Well, that sounds like the perfect place to get crossfaded, Mad Dodge. Dude, you are a typical fucking horror movie character, dude.
Yeah,
you go to the wrong place and do the wrong thing, man.
Yeah.
Imagine a horror
like Creed be like, these are the rules for a horror movie.
It's not a rule. I'm just saying you have that typical attitude of let me go look for something that sounds like it could potentially be fucking dangerous and get fucked up while I do it. That just doesn't make logical sense.
No, dude. Okay, so that graveyard is in the middle of the U of O campus. You know how many parties there are on Friday night that you could just walk right into and fucking party? And I used to sell bud at the time, so that's how I made a lot of money, was just doing that.
Oh, I thought, man, somebody said UFO. I thought you were saying UFO, you motherfucker. Okay, that's where my confusion is.
Yeah, no.
I didn't know you were talking about a college campus.
Yeah, I had an ounce of bud and I had a backpack full of beer, and I was looking for something to do, and I was still sober pretty much, but I was stoned. But I was walking towards these guys, and they literally vanished right in front of me.
Well, we will definitely not do that to you. Pot is definitely something that is not that heavy of a drug at all.
Yeah.
Trust me, I cut my fucking balls off.
That is, if you smoked lace weed, maybe. But
that's true.
Hallucinate that much.
Gentlemen, I have an amazing idea. Matt, you know those reality shows in which people go into the. My sister was just watching one a couple hours ago, and it was basically they go. Those reality shows. They go into haunted houses and they basically film themselves freaking out and go, "Oh, it's a ghost! It's a ghost! It's a ghost!" Basically, Mad Dodge should do one of those, except he's drunk and stoned the entire time. He's just sitting in the corner going, "Piss off, ghosts," or something like that.
Watch this guy get fucked up and walk around a haunted house. Yeah.
Oh no, dude!
I'm pretty sure that's what we're watching in the first place. But
I'm totally down for that. I'd do a face reveal and everything. Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you what, Mad Dodge. I have to go up soon to see my grandma who's dying of cancer. So while I'm up there, I might as well have some fun, dude. We'll get a shit ton of beer, right? And we'll go to the closest haunted location. We'll just get shit-faced, and we'll do a live stream, okay?
Dude, I'm down. I'm sorry, grandma, but if you're coming to Oregon, dude, I'm down.
That's okay.
a good
I still
idea.
make jokes about cancer, dude. It's okay.
Nice. Able to roll with the punches no matter what happens.
I'm not above it. Just saying.
The only
I've
way
got a
that
funny-
I could live in... Oh,
Oh,
sorry,
go
go ahead. No, I was going to say the only reason that I would live in Oregon is because there's people like Mad Dodge out there. There's fucking moron hippies everywhere. I fucking hate hippies. Oh my god, I hate hippies.
Yeah, dude. There's a
feminist space in the modern day.
up above where I live. They come up once a year and have a rainbow gathering. So
Oh, I know. I know how these bastards fucking act. They're the same way here in New Mexico, dude. They fucking go out and do the fucking stupid hippie gatherings, and all they do is leave trash, garbage, and shit, literally.
Dude,
Fuck those
that is
guys.
exactly what these kinds of fucking people do all the time. They talk about we gotta save Mother Nature, man, and then they're leaving all that.
The hippie thing is the hugging trees and saving the environment and leaving loads of trash behind.
Not to mention living like a barbarian.
And
I know, not even washing
look at the
themselves.
amount of the garbage that was left at the Dakota pipeline.
To be fair, 40, a hippie bath is where they use a washcloth. They don't get in the shower. They're scared.
That sounds about right.
I thought that a hippie bath is that you get a hippie shower. Isn't that when you just get a bunch of other hippies to just spit on you until you're clean?
I thought it was they peed on. I thought it was like a big, like, massive thing where they just all pissed on you.
Damn, I don't know how the gypsies
I think that
are over there. Damn, the hippies aren't that bad here. Oh, there is no gypsies in the Middle East. Everybody went silent. They're like, that's the wrong place for the gypsies, dickhead.
Obviously, no gypsies.
I've only seen gypsies once in my life, and that's when I went to Rome.
That makes sense. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, Roman gypsies would be the worst, right?
No, they did. They kept. Luckily, they were on the other side of the street from me, but I still kept my hands in my pocket just in case they tried to somehow magically take the phone off me with their gypsy powers or whatnot.
Yeah.
In the movies, it's always some gypsy fortune teller telling you that something bad is going to happen to you, and then they fucking pickpocket you of everything you own.
No, I love that. I want to make another movie. Like Mad Dodge Productions presents Gypsy Witchcraft.
I can star on this movie and make my best Russian accent and something like Western European accent.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Like a new movie idea. Pirate Nation dropped 2 other people out this time. He's good at that. I don't think he gets good Wi-Fi on that pirate ship. I really don't.
Where is his pirate ship anyway? In the middle of the bloody South Atlantic or something?
I think he lives around Texas.
Of the South Atlantic, he would be relying on that satellite.
I was being sarcastic, just wondering why he keeps dropping out 2 people with him, considering that.
Oh, I think it's because I'm on my phone at the moment. I think if I'm inactive for too long, it'll drop me from the conversation.
It did the same thing to me, MC. I mean, 40 ounce. Sorry, 40 ounce.
Oh, are you on your phone as well?
Yeah, it kicked me off right after it kicked you off.
Oh, that would explain it. Yeah, maybe if you don't touch your screen or something for too long, it'll kick you off. That makes sense. Because I've never had that problem on my computer. I just can't be on my fucking computer right now.
So, any other superstitions? I guess there is the breaking a mirror, right? That's 7 years bad luck. I think it would be immediate bad luck, especially.
There is that one about Bloody Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I tried that.
If you are alone in the house and there is a mirror and you light a candle in front of the mirror, you see Bloody Mary.
Say Bloody Mary 3 times, and she supposedly shows up and kills you.
You have to summon her 3 times, and she allegedly shows up.
Wait, but you have to have a candle? Maybe that's where I went wrong. I tried this when I was like 13. It didn't work.
No, you have to light a candle. Though I never tried.
Understandably.
And there was Candyman too, right? Or is that just a movie? Like it was a knockoff of Bloody Mary or whatever.
The Candyman
Candyman was great. That dude was scary as fuck.
You're
was
just
thinking of the
racist,
can.
scared of black people. That's what it is.
It was a black man. That's why I was so scared. Oh no, I'm a racist. Wait.
That's right. How dare
I'm
you,
just, I'm,
man?
I'm just waiting for somebody to make a parody of that movie and call it Mirror Niggers.
Oh, and there
It's
with
like-
the demonetization. No.
Just to find a way to cut that out. I said,
No.
it cut me out. I was going to say, Nigerians.
So we'll shot on in 40 minutes if we're still on. She'll do her job, and that's to get me demonetized because she hates my channel. That's right. I said it here for her.
You heard it here on Mad Dodge Productions. Bullshot hates him. It was pretty obvious, but you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on. Do you not watch the show?
So if we're still doing the kind of like Halloween-ish, Friday the 13th-ish kind of stories, got a funny one if those count.
Oh yeah, go
Those
for
are
it. That's
the
what
best
I
ones.
don't want any politics tonight. We're gonna talk about Friday the 13th. Damn it.
Okay. So I've got a funny one involving the movie actually. So I grew up in the state of Georgia, mainly Atlanta, Georgia, but my father knew of the place where they filmed one of the Friday the 13ths within the state of Georgia. And we invited a big group of friends and, a couple family members out there. And we got into one of the cabins where, a lot of the kills happened, right?
Nice.
And we were letting everybody watch the movie. We had a projector up on the wall and everything. And I got a fucking hockey mask, machete. And I stepped in front of the projector and everybody looked back, like, because during the movie, when things are happening, everybody's starting to look, they don't know. We didn't tell them where the fuck we were going. We were like, hey, we're going on a camping trip. Okay. So they start seeing everything that they're seeing in the movie around them and they're like, oh, what the fuck, and then they see me in front of the projector like that. My dad acted really fucking scared. And so they all freaked the fuck out. I shit you not, a guy opened a window and scrambled the fuck out of it as fast as he could and ran to his car. I was so impressed with myself. I was like, yes, we did it.
Dick pirate, that's fucking awesome.
I was up in Scotland when I was little, and it was basically a family. It was basically my Scottish relatives and people. It was basically a family New Year gathering, and someone tried to do basically what you did with the projector in the thing, because me and my cousins were, well, not me and my cousins, just my cousins watching a horror movie. And instead it backfires horribly, and all you hear is someone getting hit in the face and then someone shouting, piss off.
Oh my god, yeah.
These are bloody 7-year-old Scottish kids. So it's, piss off or something.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious.
Fucking kid hits the other kid in the face. That's awesome.
The best prank is when it backfires to hilarious effect.
Oh yeah. That was still fun though, man. Seeing the creeped out looks on people's faces beforehand, and the next thing you know, like you see a shadow of a person in a hockey mask with a machete, and they're just all like, and the guy that hosting it is freaking the fuck out.
How loud did they scream?
The girls were the loudest for sure. Like a couple guys screamed, but it was more like one of those short like kind of moments, and they just ran off. Like two people fucked off upstairs. It was like, okay, that was dumb. Like, okay, you just went up to a place with no exits. Yeah, all right, smart. I criticized everybody on what they did basically, and it was just the best fucking prank I'd ever been able to pull off.
Please tell me that you said it was just a prank, bro, at the end of it.
No, that phrase had not been invented yet.
That wasn't a meme yet.
No, it wasn't a thing.
This was pre-memetics.
No, this was more like ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha ha ha.
You idiots! Ha.
Yeah.
Oh man, they used to have every year over by where I went to high school a haunted corn maze, and I went there with my ex and her sister, and we were walking. We went through the maze. There's a lot of funny stories, but I'll cut to the chase. We were going through the very end, and there's like this really pitch dark tunnel. So we were all arm in arm, and we come out of the tunnel, and there's a dude dressed in all black, holding on to my ex's sister's arm, and he just looks at her, and she just flipped the fuck out. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. like he just grabbed her arm as they were walking through, and she didn't notice or whatever. She just wigged out. It was hilarious.
Since it is Friday the 13th, are we allowed to talk about Halloween on this stream and costumes?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm just wondering, what's the laziest costume that you guys have ever put together?
Oh my god, hold on. I got this. Literally, this year, I'm not even fucking kidding you, I grew out my hair specifically so I could be Giorgio Tsoukalos for Halloween. I'm not even fucking you right now. I'm not even kidding. I'm going to be Giorgio Tsoukalos for Halloween.
Oh my god.
The guy from Ancient Aliens who does the fucking aliens thing.
The aliens guy.
Yes, the fucking aliens guy. I'm so fucking excited, dude. Oh my god. I should make a fucking video. Oh my god, I'm gonna make a fucking video.
You gonna dress up just like him in the meme?
I fucking am, dude. I'm gonna dress up just like him in the meme.
Just freeze your hands in that position as well.
Yeah. Just walk around the whole night like that, asking for candy.
Literally just make a pair of cardboard or paper mache hands and just duct tape them to you.
Get a decent spray tan going.
Well, my laziest
I was just gonna say, leave your hands up like that and have them shove the candy down your fucking throat.
Feed me. Well, my laziest. Last year, my laziest costume was the pinnacle of laziness. Literally. I was already wearing a polo shirt and these beige trousers. And I kid you not, my mum, we were running out of candy, so my mum just said, we need you to go to the neighbors' houses and leech candy off them. So I did the laziest thing possible. I literally just got a golf club from the closet, put on a cap and a pair of Crocs, and walked around saying I was a golf player.
That's how you do it, dude.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't do it, but my mom made me be a hobo one year, so I just had a stick with a sheet on it and some crap and then some ripped up clothes. That was pretty lazy of her.
Well, it's better than the classic ghost with a bed sheet, you know.
Oh,
So,
I was that
no,
one.
The worst ones is that when they cut a hole in the bed sheet. That's a waste of good bed sheet, sir.
Hey, 40, you survived this time.
Yay, I live!
Wait, he survived the cut. I think I'm next. I'm next.
I made the cut, folks. This is what you get. See, this is why I touch my phone so often, apparently. Good shit.
But I think we're just gonna put overalls on my 1-year-old. He's got long red hair, and then give him a fake butcher knife, and send that picture to 40. My youngest will be Chucky, and that should haunt his nightmares forever.
That would actually be funny. I would kind of like to see that.
Take a picture of him, and because literally my little sister is terrified of Chucky, and to this day she still sleeps with the door open, which is counterproductive. But she's absolutely terrified of Chucky, and we tell her there's nothing to be afraid of. So what you should do is that if your son ever gets afraid of Chucky, make sure to just take that picture out of him in that Halloween costume and say, "You are Chucky."
Yeah. No, you know what kid scares me out of the horror movie? The Pet Cemetery kid.
I've
That
never
kid
seen
was
that movie.
oh, he's holding a big old syringe and he goes, "Let's play, Daddy," and like it is creepy as fuck.
Oh, I've heard of that scene though.
Fuck. Let's play, Daddy. Oh, it's fucky. No, thank you. I don't want to play with any kid that calls me Daddy. That's for sure.
Oh, I know it. He's got like I don't know what's in the freaking needle, something to kill you. It's not good.
A good dose of cyanide.
Oh, well, that, but it'll kill your bank account first. Just kidding, but not really.
But yeah. So, did we kill the Knights Templar conversation, or do you want to go back to that?
If you want to bring it up, and a conversation is never dead. You can always resurrect it.
Oh, we can go to Knight Templar. What part are we talking about?
Well, what I was talking about is that the origin of Friday the 13th, or do you think this comes back from numerology and witchcraft, like Wolfshot said, or maybe you can go as far back in the article I have. I could throw it in the side chat. They were talking about the Babylonian calendar. They outlawed the number 13 in it. They went from 12 to 14. So, yeah. So numerology is always kind of looked down on the number 13.
Yeah.
Is it an unlucky number? Is Friday the 13th necessarily a bad omen? Go ahead, guys.
I don't necessarily think so. I think Friday the 13th is just fine. It's been a good day for me. I don't know. I've been having fun.
Yeah, well, I actually got paid today at work, so, you know, it's a fucking amazing day for me. No bad luck here, folks.
I got to stay home all day playing video games, so it's a fine day by my standards.
Oh, here's something my wife just told me. Even at her, she works at a motel up here. It's not even a hotel, right? I've heard of hotels skipping floor 13, right? They go from 12 to 14.
Yes, I have as well,
they don't
actually.
even have a room 13 at her motel. They go from 12 to 14.
Really?
So, I mean, yeah. Because I guess supposedly everything bad happens in room 13.
That's very strange.
Oops. I'm sorry, I keep calling. Continue.
Well, I don't need to continue. Like, that's pretty superstitious, right? What do you guys think about that? Or, like, the number 13 being a bad omen in general?
I think it's kind of strange. I don't have a fear of the 13th at all. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a faux pas in our, not just evolution, but in our Western societies.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't. The fear of 13. This seems to be just like a thing that is relative to Mediterranean cultures. Honestly, I mean, Wolfshaw brought up, you know, being 13 witches in a coven or whatever. But I mean, to be quite honest, Wicca and witchcraft, those are relatively modern concepts. You know, talking about, you know, the druids of, you know, the Gullic region or what have you. You know, there's no such thing as like superstitious numbers or anything. That's all folklore with like, you know, the Woden speaks to us through the ravens and shit. You know, that kind of tomfuckery. But as far as like numerology or anything, I can't think of anything bad being related to 13. You know, I mean, in the Greek pantheon has 13 gods in it. If you want to,
I think there's also
that.
No, continue.
What was that?
Never mind, continue.
Oh, I was done. I was going to say, yeah. That's all.
I think that there's, technically speaking, there was even a 13th apostle after Judas betrayed Jesus.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was because I thought it was the 12 apostles and then plus
but I
Jesus
think
made 13.
No, but I think they added a 13th guy. I think his name was I'll Google it. I think it was like Bartholomew, or it was another Judas.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, I did not know that actually. Interesting.
Matthias, that's his name.
Well, only point I would disagree with you on 40 is it is in eastern parts of the world as well. Like Babylon was in Iraq, I believe, or
Yeah,
maybe
it
Iran.
was. It was between basically around the area where modern day Baghdad is, I believe.
In the Sudan area, yes.
And then you have the I Ching in China. I believe 13 is a bad omen in that as well.
No, and in
is
China,
it?
it's the number 4.
Yeah, no, it is a number 4. Wood's right.
Oh, I was supposed to say. Yeah, I
All
thought
right.
it was 6 or
Yeah.
something, but yeah. Yeah, I'll go 4, I believe you.
I don't know much about China really, but I know the I Ching has some bad numbers. I did think 13 was among them, but I could be wrong.
Horrible.
Well, speaking of unlucky numbers, what about the good old 666?
Ah, the 666.
Ooh.
The
Well,
mark of the beast.
Yes. Well, I mean,
Well,
it
I
depends
think
on... Go ahead.
well, 40. I'll let you take over in a second. I want to throw my 2 cents in. I think
Yeah.
personally, I really do believe the historians when it comes to this. I believe Revelations was talking about the current Caesar at the time, which was Nero, and his name in Roman whatever was 666. 6 letters on each. I believe it was an allegory for the Caesar. And now go ahead for it.
No, I was actually going to totally agree with you. It's something about the way the Bible is written, something about the numerology in Kabbalah. Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism. It's like Jewish witchcraft, pretty much.
Jewish
But
witchcraft.
something about I don't know. Jewish witchcraft.
Jewish witchcraft, that sounds like something the alt-right or the neo-Nazis would blame everything on. Doesn't it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's all because of Jewish witchcraft.
It's this Jewish witchcraft. But yeah, it has to do with Kabbalah, and so apparently 666 is how you would spell Nero's name. But no, I totally agree actually with you, Mad Dodge. There's a lot of coincidental allegories and prophetic sayings that are actually far too relevant to the state that Rome was in when Nero actually seized power. Especially if you want to talk about the Antichrist and the kind of society that is supposed to follow him. Funny enough, it's very same correlations can be easily made with Nero.
But speaking of the 666, wasn't it originally 616, but then it just got changed in a translation?
I'm actually not sure about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if you, I originally saw a documentary about the Book of Revelations, and it said something like it was a mistranslation in the original Bible that it was originally 616, and I googled it, and it apparently was 616 in the original Hebrew Bible.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, but have any of you guys actually ever read the Book of Revelation? Because at one point I was very hardcore Christian. I'm not anymore, but I was at one point.
I'm still a Christian, but I'm not hardcore.
I've read the Bible cover to cover. It's been a while. I've been reading mostly like Civil War history and stuff lately. And I do want to address a wolf shot. You're right in the chat. She corrected me and called me a fucking idiot. It's Japan, not China. Yeah, I don't know much about that area of the world's history. Sorry. I mainly know about Greece, Rome, medieval, and American Civil War. So I apologize for my shortfall there, Wolfshot. Go ahead, you guys.
Well, tell that dyke, yeah, Wolfshot, I know you hear me. Jump on, lady, what the fuck?
She will in about 20 minutes. She was at work. She had to wrap up. So I'm sure we'll get an earful.
Okay. We're gonna get told off probably. I do love Wolf Shot. Awesome.
I don't. Yeah. Oh, she's the co-host here. We get along. It's just she calls me out, and I'll call her out if I could ever talk, because she'll yell over me. But anyway.
So what you're saying is that you take the piss out of each other on occasion.
Absolutely.
You can't go.
I don't know about 616. I thought it was 666. And I thought that was the number of letters in Nero's full name. Was how I understood it. But Sith, yes, I have read Revelations. I've read the Bible cover to cover 3 times in my life. But the last time,
me too, actually, literally 3 times.
Yeah, I've only read
literally
2.
3 times. I read the Book of Mormon once, and I've read the Kabbalah a couple times. I have not read the Quran yet. I happen to really like Quran. Yeah, pronunciation sucks.
Yeah, no, I've never read either of those books either, so I'm just as lost as you on those.
Speaking of the Quran, I just want to tell you something. It's not related to the conversation, but it's absolutely, I find it quite hilarious. Have you ever read Muhammad's letter to the Persian king Khosrow II?
No.
No, I have not, actually.
It's absolutely hilarious. It sounds like the raving of a deranged madman. It you know how the Muslims talk, to the most excellent and yada 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 king of the Persians. Yes. I am Muhammad, the messenger of God, and have been sent to free you from the what is it? Glory be to him who embraces Islam and seeks the truth. And then he rambles on a bit, and then he basically, at the end of it, it basically says, I offer you this ultimatum: embrace Islam, or you will be held responsible for the sins of the Magi. Which basically means the sins of the Zoroastrian priest.
Yeah.
So it's basically Muhammad, the prophet of peace, saying, convert to Islam or we'll fucking kill you. Apologies for the language.
That sounds like good shit. That reminds me of the story that about what was it? I think it was traders or something like this. They came across Muhammad, and they didn't have any water, and so Muhammad offered them to drink the urine from the camels that they had. And so
wait, original Pissgate? Sorry.
What's that? Okay, but anyways, so they drank the urine of the camels. And after that, they actually stole the camels in the dead of night. So Muhammad had them captured and brought back to him. And so, what did he? I can't remember what he said exactly, but he said something along the lines of, "I forgive you." And then he had their eyes burned out with hot iron rods and left them in the desert to die of thirst.
No, it was a mercy. It was mercy.
Oh, yeah. And I think he had their hands and feet cut off as well, but I can't remember that. That might have been something else.
No. Whenever Muhammad does something bad, you have to say, in his benevolent mercy afterwards.
Oh, yes.
He cut off their hands and feet in his benevolent mercy and justly blinded them with a red-hot poker.
Yes. Blessings be unto him.
Indeed. And I've posted Muhammad's letter to the Persian king in our group chat.
I want to see. Can I get on that on my phone?
Chat in case anyone else wants to read it.
I don't think I can get on group chat with my phone. Fuck.
And also, did you guys hear about the supposable Islamists getting triggered because somebody brought out a coffee cup line of the paladins?
That's Knights Templar.
The Templars.
Yeah, Knights Templar. Thank you.
It's apparently there was no Muslim involved in the entire thing. It was just the Virtue Signaling Council.
Oh wow!
I think they were maybe afraid. I think they were maybe afraid of the left and dishonorable Sadiq Khan. Opposite of the right.
Precaution.
Oh, by the way, I read this joke the other day. A Muslim, a communist, and a socialist walk into a London pub. The bartender says, "Hello, Mr. Mayor."
God damn it.
Oh, Mr. Khan. You
Oh,
never
Mr.
cease
Khan.
to amaze me.
Oh gosh, I just love the fact that what was it? I can't remember what the law entitled specifically, but something about the banning of women. It was certain types, like certain body types of
Swimsuit
women.
models.
Yeah, I think it was. Wasn't it like you can
Beach body ready,
he
wasn't it?
banned? Yeah, he like banned like the classic beach body, like the women can't be under a certain weight or some shit.
That's only the icing on the cake. There's also the tweet police, in case you haven't heard of them.
Oh yes, I have. Oh my gosh, yes I have.
Taxpayers' money. It's policing tweets.
Oh yeah.
Mr.
Wait.
Khan.
You're joking, right? You're just trying to trigger me, right?
I am not.
No,
So he's
dead
not
serious.
joking. He's actually speaking the truth. I saw the fucking article. It's
I
bullshit.
speak the truth and nothing but the truth in my benevolent mercy.
Don't make me go all freaking libertarian triggered fucking anoristic or autistic. See, I can't even say it. Bloody hell.
No, it's totally right. You should Google the Wiltshire Police sometimes. I think you'll find some pretty interesting stories about them.
No, you know what makes me mad is all the foreign aid and subsidies. But we're not supposed to be talking about politics, damn it.
Okay, back to the topic. So
okay,
what about
would you? What? No, I have a question. What
All
would
right.
you guys do? Put yourself in the shoes of the Grand Master of the Knights Templar. All right. You probably heard at least an hour before that you're all going to die at a certain time because they all fled, right? The ship sailed, people ran. They knew. Somebody leaked it out. See, there's always government leaks, Mr. Trump. Get over it. Anyway.
I have my rant about the fucking Knights Templar. You know what the Knights Templar were fighting? They were fighting the fucking Muslim hordes. We kicked the ever-living dog shit out of those pieces of shit. You're the fucking end by the third fucking Templar Knights that showed up. They got their ass kicked by the Muslim hordes. Let's not pretend like this shit isn't fucking anything new.
Well, no, the thing is, they messed up. We never got to that when we were talking about the Templar. I wanted to do kind of a timeline thing earlier, but we never did. We kind of strayed off. But the way they got kicked out of Jerusalem was that battle where their Grand Master, who was elected, 3 years
Gerard the Reform, right?
Yeah,
the guy that charges headlong into a 10,000-man army with 120 men.
Through the open desert in August with no water source. You're an idiot. Knife clad in steel. Fuck off.
Just him. I just imagine this idiot shouting "Bonjour Saint Denis, Deus Volt" and just getting slaughtered.
Well, and the second Templars, they got fucked over because they did decide to march in the desert like idiots, and they were using Jesus' spirit. Like, it's gonna fucking spare you.
You're talking about the Battle of Hattin, right?
Yeah, I thought that's what we were talking about, Battle of Hattin.
The Battle of Hattin wasn't the Templars commanding. It was actually, yes, it was the Templars. Gerard the Reform. He was the one that suggested it. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Continue.
Oh, but yeah, it was after the Battle of Hattin. They actually got pushed back to Acre, the port city we were talking about previously. It was actually during this time. When was this? Late 1200s basically. And so around this time, if I remember correctly, Saladin is starting to solidify his rule amongst the varying Muslim tribes. And actually,
Saladin, sorry for you, but that's the name you're looking for, right?
Yeah, Saladin.
His full name was Saladin Yusuf Ayub ibn something. I can't do the rest.
Saladin Sadin. That was his name.
Salahuddin, yeah.
Okay, Salahuddin.
Saladin is just the westernization of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I I won't say it correctly, but Salahuddin is solidifying his...
You have to get the Arab throat noise out,
Okay.
I think.
Oh god. Well, we're gonna be here the rest of the night then.
Or we'll be here for the rest of the
chat. So he's solidifying his power amongst the varying Muslim tribes at this time, but there's actually a little bit of infighting among the Christians at this point, and it's kind of weakening their hold in the area. And they're starting to lose ground to the Muslims at this time as well. And so this is actually the losing the Battle of Atin. This is actually where the Templars and actually the Hospitallers and the Teutonic Knights as well. This is where they start to kind of fall out of the graces of the church, and they start to become a little more irrelevant at this point. They've lived through their prime, and they're no longer as useful as they once were.
Actually, the Hospitallers, they still go on a bit. They played a major role at the Battle of Arsuf, as well as the Great Siege of Malta against the Ottoman Turks a couple hundred years later.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
But the Templars, yeah, they kind of passed their prime at this point.
Yeah, God, when was the Siege of Malta? That was late.
Was
that late 1400s?
1500, I believe. I checked.
1500s? Okay, I don't have a computer in front of me. This is all by fucking memory. I'm not doing myself any favors here.
1565. September 11th.
Oh, that's some fucking irony.
There's a theory that the hijackers chose September 11th because many times on September 11th, the Muslims get defeated in battle by the Christians.
Oh, yes, I have actually read about that as well. I would actually believe that, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of us.
I mean, they didn't just wake up on a random day and say, "Hey, Abdul, you want to go hijacking?"
Yeah.
So it is what you were saying before?
Oh fuck, I don't remember. They retreated to Acre. It was the Battle of Acre in...
Siege of Acre.
Yeah, Siege of Acre in 1291. And they actually lost Acre as well, and they pretty much got pushed back all the way back to... not Greece, but...
I think it's Tyre, wasn't it?
I think so. I don't want to say they got pushed back all the way to, like, Turkey or something, but... Fug. Yeah, I think Tyre.
And then that's when Richard the Lionheart comes in.
Oh my god, fucking Richard
I thought Richard the Lionheart started around, wasn't it 14?
Oh, yeah. No, he comes back. No, 1492 is when Columbus sails the ocean blue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm done.
Oh, yeah. Richard the Lionheart comes a year. Richard the Lionheart comes a year after, because I think Guy of Lusignan, the before incompetent king of Jerusalem, actually starts being competent. Maybe it was just one of his generals that came up with the idea, and he actually besieges Acre while Saladin's tied down with other things, and he's there for a whole year before Richard shows up, just starving the people in Acre out.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. It was King Richard, because King Richard came up in it was 1400s. Am I wrong?
No, Richard the Lionheart was 1100s. 1100s, 1200s.
Then I am wrong.
It was way earlier. 1400s is the 100 Years War in its height, I believe. It's 1400s is Agincourt and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you're British. You would actually know.
Mm-hmm. Please, I do nothing but play video games and read history.
Yeah, pretty much. Same here.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We are men of similar tastes.
Gosh, I really do want to start a fucking history podcast or a history channel or something.
Yeah, we should do that, but I need to get myself better equipment first.
Yeah, same here, don't worry. I still need to get a decent mic.
The dream is in grasp.
Oh, it is. You know, it's only, $200 away. I just need that fucking mic, bro. That's all.
So, Wood, you're a gamer. What do you think about the new uh, Lord of the Rings game?
I actually haven't heard of it yet because I play quite old games and I don't really look at gaming news that much.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
started a new playthrough of New Vegas. I'm still stuck in the early 2000s.
I'm literally playing a medieval strategy game right now as we speak.
All right, guys, I
Total War 2?
gotta go do shit. It's good to hang out with you. I love all you guys. You're awesome, and I'll share and subscribe. Anyways, good night, guys.
Yeah, nice to see you, man. Have a good one.
So I didn't
play
have Dodge
Rome
Gun.
Total War now.
But my Total War is glitching out because the bloody, what do you call it? Basically, whenever I start it up, it bloody freezes the computer and I can't tab out, so I have to turn it off and turn it back on again, and I can't find a way to fix it.
Oh, fuck. You should check the Steam forums. They might have a patch for that.
Yeah.
I had to, actually,
No, but
when I
I
started
played
playing What's that?
I played Medieval 2 Total War. That's like the really old one.
Oh,
There's not
yeah,
many
no,
people that play that anymore.
No, I have that one, actually. Oh gosh, I don't even remember the last time I played that one. I think I played that one, like, a year ago.
You can obviously tell how I fight in Total War, judging by the fact I'm English. just sit up on a hill with archers.
Yeah, I was about to say. Oh god.
So let's get back to Hatteen and such.
Yeah, I'm still here, guys.
Oh, lovely.
Howdy. Oh fuck it.
But no, they got pushed back to the Byzantine Empire is where they got pushed back to, and then the third or fourth crusade, they sacked the Byzantine Empire, and that's how they ended up.
Yeah, the Fourth Crusade. What an epic fuck up that was. Oh dear.
It was the fault of the bloody Angelos dynasty. The Angelos dynasty is probably the worst dynasty in the Byzantine Empire. All three emperors were bloody absolute crackbats.
Dude, they
so
fucking were.
Basically, you got a guy called you know Andronikos Komnenos is?
Yes.
Last of the Komnenian empires, tortured and killed by a mob over 3 days because Isaac Angelos, first Angelosian emperor, hands him over to the angry mob. And everyone thinks Isaac is going to be a great king because he looks like a tall, muscular warrior and brave and such. But 2 years into his reign, he has a political opponent's head cut off and he starts using it as a bloody football. And then he's later blinded by his brother who takes the throne.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Richard Lionheart, I was watching a documentary, and it said that Richard sacked Jerusalem. That's not what I heard.
He never went.
What, 6 miles away and turned around?
Yeah,
and then his brother.
And
then Richard.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Sorry,
Richard,
go on, Mad Dodge.
Yeah, go on. Is your mic glitching out?
Oh, is my mic messing up?
Yeah, it sounds a bit dodgy, but it's fine now. But
oh, maybe I was talking too loud. I have a crappy mic. Is that better?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, what I was saying was, Richard got only 6 miles from Jerusalem, and then he had to turn back and retreat. And then he found out his brother was trying to take the crown in England and had to leave. But I saw a documentary last night. They were saying that he sacked Jerusalem. That never happened.
No, he didn't. He sacked Acre, I believe. No, I'm not sure if he sacked Acre. He executed the Saracen prisoners at Acre, but he didn't go to Jerusalem.
No, he also got Jaffa, right?
Yeah,
he
Jaffa.
went up and got Jaffa as well.
Yeah, and that's between Jaffa and Acre is where Al-Zuf takes place, I believe.
Yeah.
Al-Zuf is one of
the crazy parts about Jaffa is, so basically at Jerusalem, there's a bit of a standstill. Richard's men want to sack Jerusalem, but there's not enough resources around here. You know, it's just, it can't be done. Don't have enough resources. So he sits down and negotiates with, I'm not going to say his name correctly, negotiates with Saladin. Saladin. He negotiates with him, basically peace treaty. You know, just like, hey, let some pilgrims in and we're cool, right, bro? And he agrees.
And
to
also,
it. Like, yeah, we're cool.
Also a 100-year peace with the Crusaders, or a certain number-year peace with the Crusaders, and let them keep the coast.
Yeah, and I mean, this was obviously broken, but yeah. So while Richard is basically sailing away, Jaffa gets captured and sacked by I can't remember the name of the commander, but one of Saladin's commanders. And
I think it's his brother Al-Abdal.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, I think you're right.
Al-Abdal's his brother.
Yeah, so Jaffa gets sacked, right? And so Richard he catches word of this, and he's just basically like, right, no you fucking don't. And so he literally turns right around, and starts sailing for Jaffa. And eventually, Richard the Lionheart, with, oh Christ, I think
54 knights.
Well, sorry, what was it, 54 knights? How many crossbowmen did he have again?
54 knights, 300 to 500 infantry, 2,000 Genoese and Pisan crossbowmen, unknown number of sailors, and unknown number of Jaffa's garrison.
54 knights, 300 to 500 infantry, and then around 1,000 or so crossbowmen. And so he literally does like the world's first like amphibious landing. Like, literally runs his fucking boats aground, and like he himself personally leads the charge.
Yeah.
And he bloody just wrecks the shit, dude.
This is what happens. He basically takes off his boots so he doesn't get weighed down in the sand, and takes a bloody battle axe out and shouts, "By God, they will not harm the Christians!" And basically charges the shore with his most royal knights. And the Muslims at this point are terrified of him. They call him Malik Rik, which basically means Devil Rik. And apparently after him
wielding axes, actually.
No, he wasn't. It was a giant two-handed axe, a Dane axe.
Oh, okay.
According to accounts. And he basically runs ashore with about 10 knights at his back, and the Muslim guys guarding the beach, I think there's like 50 of them, they just turn tail and run. Because Malik Rik is going to come and butcher them with an axe.
Yeah, and so, while he's basically charging these guys, he's receiving cover fire from his crossbowmen, and they're literally it's an unimpeded charge into the city. Literally, it's fucking incredible. So fucking amazing.
Fun facts about Richard the Lionheart is that he actually spoke little English.
Oh, yeah, he was the son of Eleanor of Aquitaine, who is French.
And also,
so
fun fact, Richard Lionheart's eldest brother was a bastard who ended up being Bishop of York and was actually also a rather effective general. Yeah, the warrior bishop. But the
whole fucking family, dude.
The family's so bloody messed up. You know what Henry and Eleanor's eldest legitimate son, you know what happened to him?
Louis, right?
No, William. Died of a seizure at the age of 3.
He did? Oh shit, I didn't know that.
His name was William of Poitiers. And the second eldest was Henry the Young King. And then came, I think, Geoffrey. And then was John. And then William Longsby, who was another bastard.
You know what I always thought was interesting about medieval history? During the Black Death, the Pope protected himself from the disease with fire, so he was like surrounded by a ring of fire.
Just imagine an audience with the Pope. It's like it would look like an audience with Satan.
Yeah.
You stand before the Pope, and there's a ring of fire around him.
And there's Johnny Cash in the background.
The police didn't jump through the fire, so
we didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world was burning.
The Pope didn't start the fire.
It was always
Oh
burning.
gosh.
Yeah.
So any other Friday the 13th stuff you guys want to talk about, or are we getting about to the end of the line here?
Let's go. Well, it depends.
I am actually.
We basically derailed it into the Third Crusade.
Yeah, we're well past the point of the Templars even being relevant. It's
Yeah, for sure.
We
This
might
is
as well move on to the
territory
4th,
now.
5th, and 6th. Yeah, exactly. But I actually do have to get off. I have fucking 2 videos to work on, and then I actually have to go to bed in like an hour.
All right.
It's 4:20. It's 4:20 in the morning here, so I'll probably have to do it as well.
Oh gosh.
All right, then. Yeah, let's end it here. Thank you, everybody. It's been the RedEye stream number 36. Have a good night, guys.
Beware of man boob ghosts.